terms of environment and natural resources policy for the 2016 legislative session, I think water is going to be a big issue, and it's sort of a carryover from the 2015 legislative session. Late in the 2015 legislative session, we did some amendments to the Wetland Conservation Act, which provided some flexibility for economic development projects and also for transportation infrastructure. So that was important to us to be able to, when we can go through and update that Wetland Conservation Act, provide the flexibility. And then also the governor proposed a buffer act, which proposed some vegetative buffers for public waters and for public ditches in the state of Minnesota. And I think that'll carry over into 2016, because in 2016 the governor has already proposed a water quality summit in late February to assemble a bunch of stakeholders together to talk about water quality issues. Also, the governor has proposed a $1.4 billion bonding bill, of which $220 million of it is dedicated to water, specifically wastewater, as well as groundwater protection, which is really important because 75% of Minnesota's groundwater is used for drinking water. Water quality issues are very important to our members because if you look at our economy, number one, tourism is a very big part of our economy. We've got Lake Superior, we've got 2 national parks in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area and Voyageurs National Park. We're the land of 10,000 lakes. So water is a big part of our economy in terms of tourism. It's also big in terms of manufacturing. A lot of our manufacturers, whether it's mining or forestry and other terms of manufacturing, also use a lot of water, so it's very important to that. Also, the agricultural economy is very centered on water quality and water quantity issues. Whether it's for crops, we're number 1 in turkey producers, we're number 1 in sugar beet production, we're number 2 in pork. So whether it's used for irrigation with our crops, or whether it's used for agricultural processing to process some of those agricultural products. So it's obviously very important to us. We're also, people aren't aware of it, but we have a big water cluster of industry here. People that sell technology and also reuse of water. So 3M, Pentair, Ecolab, Dow Water Services are all located right here in Minnesota. So we've got a little water cluster going too. So water, whether it's our economy, tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, and then also to our water cluster, I'll call it. So that's why it's important to our members. So in 2016 at the legislature, I think it's going to be very important for water quality and water quantity. And something's going to happen. It's going to be an unusual legislative session. It's a very short session with a lot of stops and starts. We have a new building, a Minnesota Senate building. We also have a state capitol that's under construction that's only going to be open for House floor sessions. But I think something's going to happen on water quality because of the Governor's Water Quality Summit. Also, water quality tends to not be partisan, it's bipartisan usually, and so there's not a lot of political infighting on it. With the bonding bill out there and a lot of money for wastewater infrastructure, I think that's very important for cities and counties and when they're wastewater treatment plants. And it's important for the business community because of economic development. We need to expand, and sometimes we need to do a little bit more discharge in some of those wastewater treatment plants. So that's important to be able to allow them to expand and for our economic development for our members. It's really important for our members to contact their local legislators to let them know how important water is to them, whether it's for tourism, whether it's for a manufacturing facility that you might have in your town, or whether it's for agricultural, whether it's for crop irrigation, or for whether it's ag processing. Also for wastewater treatment plants, we need them to be able to have access to capital to expand because it's important for economic development projects for our businesses. But there's going to be a lot of money in there in terms of the bonding bill, which I said is $220 million of the 1.4 that the governor has proposed. There's also what's known as the Clean Water Legacy Amendment, where we dedicated 3/8 of 1% of our sales tax. So that's roughly about $170 million too that's in to the water quality and water quantity. And so we want to make sure that there's good return on the investment. We want to make sure that there's matching funds available, whether it be other state or federal funds. We want to make sure there's measurable outcomes. So if you want to be able to contact your legislator, tell them how important it is, and to make sure that it's good return on the investment with measurable outcomes, I think that would be a good message to our legislators.